Tanzania has erupted into chaos. What was supposed to be a historic day of democracy has turned into a national tragedy. 2 people, including a police officer, have been confirmed dead after violent protests swept across the country on election day. The long-awaited presidential vote in Tanzania was overshadowed by explosions of anger, uncertainty, and frustration as protesters clashed with security forces in Dar es Salaam and beyond. Human rights organizations sounded the alarm early, warning of intimidation, arrests, and reports of opposition members being detained just hours before polls opened. Then, the unthinkable happened. Internet access was abruptly cut off across the nation, plunging millions into a digital blackout as streets filled with chanting crowds demanding justice and change. In the heart of Dar es Salaam, a rapid transport bus and a nearby gas station were set ablaze as the chaos spiraled out of control. Police fired tear gas and warning shots, but the protests only grew. As night fell, the city was transformed into a symbol of resistance, lit by fire and driven by fury. Just when Africa thought the storm of unrest had calmed, it has reignited, and this time, the flames are spreading fast. Tanzania's main international airport has been taken over by thousands of demonstrators. The terminals are packed with protesters waving flags, chanting songs of freedom, and blocking runways. Rumors are swirling that a high-ranking government official has fled the country on a private jet, further intensifying the tension. Across the continent, one question echoes in every conversation: is this the start of another African revolution? We saw it in Cameroon under Paul Biya, young people taking to the streets to demand change. Now it's happening again in Tanzania. A new generation, bold and fearless, has decided to challenge the old order. This is not a movement led by politicians or elites. It's a movement born from the hearts of ordinary young people who are tired of corruption, oppression, and being silenced. The Gen Z uprising has become Africa's newest force, a digital generation using their phones as weapons, streaming every moment, every confrontation, and every cry for freedom. The streets of Dar es Salaam are now a living symbol of both anger and hope, a reflection of a continent standing on the edge of transformation. Amnesty International has condemned the killings, calling them deeply disturbing and warning that the risk of further violence remains dangerously high. The organization has urged Tanzanian authorities to avoid unnecessary and excessive force against peaceful demonstrators, but on the ground, the sound of gunfire and sirens continues to echo through the night. The government has declared a nationwide curfew, yet across major highways, groups of protesters continue to gather, waving placards and chanting for reform. They are calling for the release of detained opposition figures like Tundu Lissu of Chadema and Lugina of the Wazalendo Party, voices silenced in the heat of political tension. Still, the people refuse to back down. The government's silence on reports of a fleeing leader has only fueled more suspicion and anger. For many, it's a sign that the balance of power is shifting, that fear has finally changed sides. From the streets of Dar es Salaam to the rural towns of Arusha and Dodoma, one message rises above the chaos: enough is enough. Tanzania's youth are not waiting for permission to dream of a better country, they're seizing it. Despite curfews, shutdowns, and arrests, they continue to document the truth, streaming their struggle in real time, refusing to be erased. Around Africa, this spirit of defiance is spreading. From Cameroon to Kenya, from Uganda to Sudan, young Africans are rejecting dictatorship and demanding a voice in shaping their destiny. Tanzania now stands at a critical crossroads between democracy and dictatorship, between silence and a new beginning. And as the world watches closely, one thing becomes clear: no government, no regime, no system can outlast the will of its people forever. History is being written not in boardrooms or parliaments, but in the streets, by a generation that refuses to bow. The fire of revolution has returned to Africa, and this time, it burns brighter than ever. You're watching The African Discovery, where we uncover the untold stories shaping the continent's future. Stay tuned as we continue to follow the Gen Z uprising transforming Tanzania, and to witness how the echoes of rebellion in Cameroon have now inspired a continent ready to rise.